afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stock Market Today. You have Alyssa Corum here, and I'm joined by Ed Carson. We're going to break down the overall market action today, but first, Ed's going to give us a preview of the stocks that we're going to be taking a closer look at. Hey, Ed.
Hey, Ali. We had a strong day for growth stocks. A couple China names that broke out were NetEase and NEO, while CrowdStrike is in striking distance of its own buy point.
All right. Well, first, let's take a look at the major indexes. The Nasdaq tacking on a gain of 0.8% for the day. The S&P 500 up 0.4%. The Dow lagged a bit, down 0.2% for the day. But yet another up day here for the Nasdaq. What do you make of just the number of days that we've had up in a row?
It was just really great action. It was also nice to see this happening with Apple down a little bit, because Apple and some other tech have been so important to the market, but a lot of big techs other than Apple were up very strongly. The only thing you could say is that we're starting to get a little extended from the 50-day line, and on a monthly chart, the Nasdaq might be like maybe out of a long-term trend line that is sort of poking out of this month. Sort of the trend line hit the long-term line at the end of last month. So everything this month has sort of been out of past that trend line. But right now, everything is working. I think investors should keep that in mind, that it wouldn't be a surprise to see a pullback from here, but you sort of got to ride that trend. It's just that you need to stay alert and have a game plan and be ready to act if the market does turn against us.
That's right. And we are breaking all of this down in real time as well every morning on IBD Live. So make sure to watch that each morning for further details as well. And we're going to take a look at a couple of individual names. Ed, you mentioned NetEase, a China gaming company, up over 4% today. Some nice volume to go along with that, breaking out to new highs and clearing that round number of 500. So a pretty nice move today.
Yeah, pretty nice move today. You probably could have bought it yesterday when it sort of cleared that little resistance area around 487. And that's one way to play, maybe get an early stake in there and maybe add to it, when it broke out of this conventional buy point. Really nice action. They had strong earnings a week or so, a couple weeks ago. So that was a positive. The RS line isn't at new highs, but it's at least coming up. It's coming up. It's above, those short-term levels. And, we're seeing that it was a strong day for some of the Chinese internets, Alibaba, JD extending their breakout. So, definitely investors may want to keep a close eye on China names. I know that there's always hesitancy with accounting issues and trade, but it's definitely a growth area.
Yeah, and NetEase is one of the more established names. And I think it's so impressive to see how resilient this stock was with that relative strength line hitting new highs, when the market was bottoming. So held up relatively well. And this is, the first base that it's had since, a couple months back. So one for the watch list and ready list, really, because it's still in that 5% buy zone. And next on our list, we're taking a look at Tesla rival NEO, which really extended its gains throughout the session today. When we were looking at this on IBD Live this morning, it was still in that 5% buy zone, but the train really left the station on this one, finishing the day up almost 20%, some heavy volume, and that relative strength line at a new high to boot. What's your take?
I mean, it's very speculative. This is losing money. It will continue to lose money for a while. It has a lot of growth. It makes real products in China, but it is speculative. However, just in terms of technicals, just the idea is that some people were talking about it when it was surging at $5, $7. Well, sometimes yes, if you bought it there, you'd be very happy now. But a lot of the stocks, it's just there's a lot of junk down there. I mean, often, and so they might have a move and then come down. There's nothing wrong. A lot of great model book stocks will surge, and the buy point, Bill O'Neill bought it after that first breakout, bought it after that first low area and bought it after it proved itself a little bit. Can't buy it now. It's too extended, but boy, what a move today.
Yeah, exactly. Great to point out. You don't want to be chasing stocks. This is too extended. It's so important to buy right. You definitely don't want to get caught in a pullback with this type of action. But again, we were talking about this as it was breaking out on IBD Live. And, we talked about NetEase as well, and CrowdStrike in there too. We're taking a look at this double bottom-like pattern. Good to see it now back above this 50-day line after falling below that level. It was not able to find support there, but it was able to quickly rebound back above that level.
Yeah, CrowdStrike came down with a lot of the other software leaders like
Hmm.
Fastly and Datadog, but this one is one of the only ones that didn't have earnings. But it bounced back. It has sort of that double bottom buy point of like 116.28. You also have right now it's not measuring that, but you could buy it off the high as well. And you could, if you really wanted to get crazy, you could be really aggressive into a trend line across there. Just drawing all sorts of lines here.
Yeah.
You'd sort of be right around there, like really aggressive. This is really strong growth. The security software, a lot of that's doing well. You can look at that growth down there, 85%, 89, 88. Those are the last 3 quarters for revenue. It's getting on the edge of, becoming profitable. So that's a positive sign. That's often where you sort of like see this big growth trend for the stock in that situation. So there's a lot of positives about this one.
Yeah, we know that you've said that that's something that appeals to you when you're seeing a company that's turning profitable. So we're going to keep tabs on this one because we know that the software sector has really produced a lot of the winners, not just in this rally, but in recent years as well, and an incredibly strong move for CrowdStrike from the lows. And this is really the first proper base
Yeah.
since then.
One point is that they probably have earnings out like on September
Yeah.
5th. So it's potential there won't be a cushion there. So just keep that in mind because we saw how a lot of other software names did not react well to earnings. And so if you do get in, you definitely have to keep that in mind.
Yeah, maybe that's the catalyst that this stock needs to move back into new highs. All right, everyone, thanks for joining us today. And you can be sure the conversation always continues on IBD Live every morning, our daily morning live stream, the first hour and a half of trade where our experts are sharing their screens, talking about actionable stocks as they're breaking out, like NetEase, like NEO, and so much more. We're also talking about overall portfolio strategies because while this trend has been incredibly strong and the market has been incredibly resilient, we know nothing can go up forever. So you will be sure that we're going to be flexible in breaking down all the changing conditions whenever that really does happen.
Yeah, that's a really good point, and it's always a fun time.
Yes, we have fun. You can tune in a little early for some pre-show music as well. We have a good time. So we hope you check it out over at investors.com/IBD Live. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow.